Hey folks, you're watching Connor and this is episode 6 in the weekly fitness vlog. In this episode we're going to be answering the question, how long does it take to get a good physique? You ready? Let's go. Kicking things off then with the weigh-in. So I'm going to throw now to a weigh-in that I recorded earlier. It's worth noting that there's no audio for this one, so I'm just going to play some music or something over it. Enjoy. Not 0.8 pounds, so we're back on track with the 2100 calories. 2100 calories for me right now is a deficit, so I'm going to continue to do that for at least 4 weeks and then we will see how we go from there. But in any case, not 0.8 pounds, it's bang on track, it's exactly what we want to see, so we keep it going. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. The first thing I want to do is actually just answer the question, how long does it take? The first thing to bear in mind is if your methods suck, i.e. your training and your nutrition are awful, then the answer is never. You will never get in really good shape if your methods suck. So if you're not getting results in the first, say, 3 years of your training, it's not because of your genetics, it's not because of any problems you have, it's not because other people are taking steroids and you're not, it's just because your methods suck. So you got to improve your methods if you want to get results. Now to actually answer the question, okay, assuming that your methods are actually good and you're following a pretty solid method, which is a big if, to be fair, because most methods kind of suck, right? But let's assume you are actually following a good method. Like, what kind of results are you going to expect and what kind of time frame? Well, I'd say after about a month, you'll probably start to notice what I call bumps, right? So like if you kind of feel around your body, you'll notice that you're starting to get a little bit of muscle in different areas based off how well your training's going. So typically it's really only you that can spot this, and it's the kind of thing you only notice when you have a little field check, right? But it is something, and it's something to keep you going, you'll notice. So about after a month, you'll notice little bits of muscle popping up here and there, but it probably won't be anything that'll be visible to anyone else. Typically around the 3-month mark is when other people will typically start to notice your results, and funny enough, that's when you don't, right? So other people will start to notice and they'll say things like, oh, have you lost weight, or have you gained weight, you're looking better, that sort of thing. The funny thing is, usually by that stage you've kind of like stopped the whole like looking for results thing, and you've just kind of accepted it is what it is. So if you've made it to that 3-month mark, then congratulations, you're probably going to stick at it. But yeah, that's when other people start to notice. What they're noticing for the most part though is probably fat manipulation, like you gaining or losing fat depending on where it was you started, and it just happens to make you look a little bit better. Whereas the muscle gains, they're a little bit harder to spot because they're underneath all the fat. So the next kind of time frame is around 6 months. Now, this is all dependent on where you're starting from as well. I should probably state that. Like if you're at a point where you're I don't know if vulgar is the word, but like vulgarly out of shape, and you'll know like if that's you. It's not a judgment call, it is what it is, right? Like if you're at a point where you're so fat that your doctor's telling you need to lose weight, then you know this is going to take a little bit longer. This is for just most people who are just a little bit overweight or a little bit underweight. Then around the 6-month mark is where you actually start to look like you train. Like it's like if a stranger saw you, they'd be like, okay, this person trains. You're not necessarily looking like a fitness model or anything, but like you look pretty decent, like you look like you train. It's around the 1 year mark that I'd say provided your methods are good, that you have a body that is for sure in the top 1%, right? It's like you quite clearly have a better body than 99% of people, and it's not necessarily, it's not that you have a better body than 99% of people who train, it's that you have a better body than 99% of people in total. And given that most people don't train, it's actually not that hard to have a body that's in the top 1%, because I mean you almost win just by showing up to the race, because you know so few people actually do, so you kind of just win by default, right? But then the next kind of tier, but which is good though, that's a good place to be at. Although typically at that stage you start comparing yourself to fitness models, and then it's like, well, you can't really win, can you? You know. But in comparison to most society, whose bar is pretty low, like, you look awesome for them. So 1 year is kind of, so it's a good point to hit, right? Assuming that you can actually let it land and just enjoy it for what it is, and not judge yourself too much and compare yourself to people who are training a lot longer than you, then the 1 year mark is where it's like, okay, you know, you've got something pretty solid that a lot of people would want. Now, the next kind of tier from there is the sort of, I want to say, I don't know if world class level is the way to put it, because I'm not talking about like a professional bodybuilder, like the 22 stone steroid machines. I'm talking aesthetically speaking, so because that's what I'm going for, and that's what I talk about in this channel, like the kind of fitness model look, and take this with a pinch of salt, because I don't think I have a fitness model physique yet. So, you know, maybe don't take my opinion in this. I don't know, it's up to you. But my guesstimate currently is probably about 3 years. I think at the 3 year mark I'll have a physique that is world class and that is fitness model ready. So yeah, that's the answer to the question. Now, all this is assuming that you're natural bodybuilding and you're not taking steroids. I have no idea how long it takes if you take steroids. I assume they make it a lot quicker. I don't know to what extent. So these time frames are just if you're doing it naturally and you're not taking any kind of growth hormone or anything like that. So the next thing that I want to talk about is, now that I've actually answered the question of how long it takes, I want to explain why that question is probably why you will fail. If you've committed to sticking to this process and you're just watching this video because you're just generally curious as to what kind of time frames you can expect, then disregard what I'm about to say. But the reality is, most people who ask the question, how long does it take, never actually develop good physique, because in asking the question, how long does it take, you're showing oftentimes that you're impatient and that you're not ready to follow a process, and you're kind of looking at it in terms of like a cash exchange, where it's like, okay, how much time do I have to pay before I get my little product back, right? And that kind of mindset is not going to lead to you actually getting what you want, which is developing a good physique. Those people who actually succeed are the ones who just decide that it's just going to be a part of their life, and they're not going to view it as like, okay, I have to go spend, you know, 3 months or 6 months or a year, whatever it is, to get this, and then I just never have to do it again. The ones who actually get good physiques and keep good physiques are the ones that actually just really enjoy it. They enjoy the process, they find a process they can stick to, and one that actually leads to them getting results, and that's how you get it in the long term, and you actually keep it. So instead of asking how long does it take, ask yourself, what process can you actually follow that's going to get you the result you want in the long term and over the course of your life that you can actually stick to. I hope you've taken something from this video that you can use to help you in your own personal fitness journey. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them myself personally. I want to make sure that you get the most from this channel as you can, and that I can help you as best as I can. I want to thank all of you that have subscribed so far. I hope you're benefiting from the content, and you will do in future also. As always, I've been Connor. Take care, and I'll see you next week.